OC. Viewer discretion is advised. Incoming transmission in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Outcasted OC. How's it going? A week after NXT Spring Break is concluded, we are back with another NXT episode. It feels like it's been ages since I've watched NXT, but it's, you know, because of the draft and everything. But honestly, like I said, it's not that long. It was only a week ago last time I did a review. So I don't know why I'm feeling that way, to be honest with you. Decent show, this really decent show. Usually after like a special or a pay-per-view, we get a bit of a like a lie down week and stuff like that, but we start pretty strong. Before we start the video, just want to say, guys, if you like what I say in this review, or if you like any of the content the channel posts, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out, and obviously we're growing in 2024, try to get more people involved in the channel, so we'd love to have you along for the ride. So let's get straight into the show. We get Wesley versus Josh Briggs here. Obviously, this comes from a confrontation that happened last week. We saw Josh Briggs, you know, basically saying to Wesley, you know, just because you were the North American champion and, like, you know, you ran away and now you're back, like, doesn't mean you get to, you know, cut the line. I mean, I wouldn't say that's exactly what happened to Mr. Josh Briggs, but, you know, I see what you're saying. While this match is going on, by the way, great combination of styles here. Obviously, we've got Josh Briggs trying to work on Wesley's back because that's what was injured. But Wesley's also done his homework because he knows that Josh Briggs has 2 cracked ribs from NXT. I believe it was Stand and Deliver. So he's working on the ribs. Josh Briggs is working on the back. Wesley's trying to go for the high flying moves, keep it fast paced. Josh Briggs is just looking to beat him down. While this match is going on, Ivar makes his presence and he goes on commentary and just starts talking mad stuff about Obafemi, about Briggs, about Wes, how he should be the next challenger for the North American Championship, again, because he is not done with Obafemi. While this is going on, there's a moment on the outside where Wesley drop kicks Briggs into Ivar. This gives Wesley the advantage and it allows him to get back in the ring where he's able to hit a top rope maneuver for the 1, 2, 3. Now, while this is going on and Wesley's celebrating, Josh Briggs gets out of the ring and starts fighting Ivar because he blames him for what happened. He blames him for, you know, not being able to, you know, revive himself basically and get back into the match after being drop kicked into Ivar. Not really sure why he's not mad at Wesley, but regardless of that, Wesley ends up getting onto the top rope and hitting a top rope dive to the outside. Booker T seems to be happy to see Wesley back. Obviously, he considers him the greatest North American champion, and it's hard to argue with that, to be honest with you, because in my mind, I think he did the most to promote that championship. Him or Carmelo Hayes, for me, are the 2 best North American champions of all time. So that was nice to see. I'm interested to see where the North American Championship scene is going, because while this is all going on, Obafemi is on that little balcony in the NXT arena, kind of laughing, kind of smiling, saying, you know, I like this competition. I like the fact that all these people are coming for me, and I want to see who is going to get the advantage and challenge me next. I mean, that's the gist I got from that one single facial expression that we're seeing from him. We now cut to last week, just getting an NXT Underground recap to explain why we're getting this match in a couple of minutes. Shayna Baszler obviously putting the Kirifuda clutch onto Carmen Petrovic. That is one of those situations where, like what happened last week, creates a match this week. You know how it goes in WWE. Before we do get that match, however, we do get the OC trying to too-sweet Nathan Fraser and ask him in the locker room for finally getting rid of all those main event, main roster tag teams. Obviously, they are a main roster tag team. If you don't get the irony, then I suppose that joke would be lost on you. While this is going on, Tyreek and Tyson are talking to the NQCC because the No Quarter Catch crew are saying, you know, you lost last week to the OC. Tyson and Tyreek go, yeah, but, you know, there's no shame in losing to those guys. And when we have a match with you tonight, we'll prove that we belong here and we're just getting better and better. So then we go back to the arena where we do get the Shayna Baszler and Carmen Petrovic match. One of those matches that's quite one-sided. Carmen Petrovic does get a little bit of offense in, but most of this match just consists of Shayna Baszler working on the arm, really hitting like hard-hitting moves onto Carmen here. There's a moment in the match where she gets her on the outside, wraps her arm around the the metal under the apron, and does that gnarly move that she does on people's arms. It just looks absolutely horrible. She gets her back in the ring. As I say, Karma Petrovic is trying to land some offense. She does, but eventually gets put into the Kirifuda clutch for the tap out. Shayna Baszler is victorious in this situation. Later on in the night, Natalya is talking to Carmen, saying, it's okay. It doesn't matter that you lost. Like, we can build on, we need to see a little bit more aggression, etc. Someone walks past Carmen and says, don't worry that you lost to Shayna, because you're still a smoke show. Carmen then proceeds to kick this guy in the face with a karate move. And Natty says, we should work off that. We should try and build something on that. And I agree, Natalya. And I'm going to say something really interesting here. I'm actually enjoying Natalya on NXT. I never thought I'd say I was enjoying Natalya, but she's actually doing some interesting work. I liked the Underground match last week, and I kind of like the mentor role that she's playing for Carmen here. I think this is in her bag. I think maybe she'd stay in NXT for a little bit and build herself up again. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Speaking of people building themselves up, we do get Fallon Henley. Where she is talking to Kalani Jordan, where she's talking to all these people, and she says, Fallon comes first. That's why I did what I did last week when I attacked Thea Hale. She needs to start thinking about herself, basically. Before this, Kalani Jordan is talking some mad shiz about Fallon Henley, saying she should have hit her at the Women's North American Combine last week. Fallon says, why didn't you? Kalani says, well, because I thought we were friends and I don't understand what the hell is going on. This leads to a match later on tonight. I'll basically talk about that when we get to it. But let's talk about the Women's Combine for a minute. It's one of those things where it's like cardio, strength, endurance, competition, speed. And whoever finish in the top 12 get to move on to qualifying matches to get into the North American Championship ladder match at NXT Battleground. A lot of steps to get into that ladder match, but I thought it was cool. It was an innovative way to whittle down the people on the women's roster to get them, for the best of the best for the final 12, and then to get the final 6 for the ladder match. I thought that was a cool way to do it. We'll talk about the combine now. We might as well. So there's 12 people that qualified. I'm not going to mention all of them because some of them are just like your Ren Sinclairs, people who haven't really done anything. But the ones that I've noticed that have qualified is Ivy Nile. We've got Meechim in there. We have got Jada Parker in there. We've got Fallon Henley, Kalani Jordan, Sol Ruka, amongst a couple of other really talented people. So that's going to be some great qualifying matches. Oh, Lash Legend is already in there as well. So I'm interested to see Lash Legend have a shot, to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie. We now go back to the arena, guys. We are in a tag team match. We've got the No Quarter Catch Crew versus Tyson and Tyreek. And now, before this match starts, the announcer says, ladies and gentlemen, I've just been informed that the referee for this match is unavailable. And everyone's like, what? To replace the referee in this match, Channing Stacks Lorenzo, what are you doing here? As Cultaholic would say. Shout out Cultaholic. So apparently Luca Crucifino hands Vic Joseph a note on commentary saying that Stacks has a license to be a referee. Basically this is the D'Angelo family's way of kind of screwing over the No Quarter Catch Crew, trying to get under the skin, because obviously they owe him money and now they're coming after the Heritage Cup. So this is just a way to wind them up, basically. This bit comes to an end where I believe it is Miles Bourne who rolls up either Tyreek or Tyson, and Stacks does a really slow count, and Vic Joseph describes it on the commentary as he's just trying to check if the shoulders are down. Obviously Charlie Dempsey's going absolutely mental. Everyone in the No Quarter Catch Crew is going absolutely mental. Booker T's going mental, but you gotta love Vic Joseph standing up for the Mafia, who are the faces in this situation. Like I say, very interesting NXT. But then the tables are turned, and then Miles gets rolled up, and a really fast count from Channing Stacks Lorenzo gives Tyson and Tyreek their first victory on NXT TV. You gotta love to see it. You gotta love it. We now go backstage to Chelsea and Ariana Grace talking about how it's great to have Chelsea Green in NXT. She needs to win the NXT Women's Championship tonight. Chelsea's basically talking about how it's great to be on a roster with Ava Raine, who's the best general manager. She's dealt with Adam Pearce and she's dealt with Nick the Prick Aldis. Nicholas Prickles, I believe she calls him, and says she is going to win the NXT Championship. And in the background, you've just got Gigi Dolan or Georgina saying, "Oh, I'm sick of this." Really bad acting from Gigi Dolan, but we move, I suppose. We go to the ring where Ariana Grace says she's going to take care of business. At least that's what she said to Chelsea Green. Because we get Mia Yim or Mi Chim versus Ariana Grace. Not much to say about this match, to be honest with you. Ariana Grace gets a lot of offense on in here. I thought it was going to be a little bit of a squash, but you can tell that WWE are really high on Ariana Grace, and I don't blame them whatsoever. She's so talented. But this match ends up coming to the end where Mi Chim hits the protect your neck. For the 1, 2, 3. So obviously Mi Chim building momentum heading into that women's the combine and the qualifying matches. So that's going to be interesting to see how far Mi Chim gets in that tournament. Is she gonna qualify for the ladder match? I wouldn't mind seeing her in that match, to be honest with you. We now go backstage to where Ridge Holland is still trying to console Thea Hale, saying that, you're still absolutely amazing. I know how you feel. I know how it feels to be angry. Them two are kind of connecting and bonding over the fact that obviously Ridge Holland, doesn't have the most patience for people on the roster. And obviously because JC Jane has been winding up Thea Hale for the past couple of weeks, she feels exactly the same as Ridge feels. Chase shows up and Thea says, it's nice to talk to someone who understands, Ridge Holland. Obviously, Andre Chase is understanding and stuff, but he doesn't get the rage that I hold. Lexis King shows up and says, well, he basically says they're all losers, and sometimes this game isn't built for everybody. Ridge Holland takes umbrage with that, but Duke Hudson steps in and goes, no, I'll deal with this, and basically sets up a match later on tonight between him and Lexis King, because apparently you've pissed off the king, Mr. Duke Hudson. Right, okay, whatever. We now go to probably the most interesting part of the night. We have got Supernova Sessions, where the special guest is Trick Williams, where we finally get to see what was in that envelope from last week when Lash Legend says your world is about to come crumbling down. But we see that Lash Legend is a bit sweet on Trick Williams all the way through this segment. The envelope is revealed to be a picture of a match from a couple of months ago where Noam Dar is being pinned by Trick Williams, but however, his feet was under the ropes. So he says, Noam Dar, all the momentum to beating Ilya Dragunov started off by beating me. And it turns out you're just a trick, you're just a fraud, and I'm going to go expose you for the fraud that you are. Lash Legend is kind of standing up for Trick Williams here. And Trick Williams turns around and says, maybe it's time that we tell him, Lash, how you call me sweet, Trick Willy Wonka or something like that. And Lash is like, babe, I mean Trick. And the crowd's like, oh. And basically, Noam Dar's like, what the hell is going on here? We're supposed to be family. Tell us what's going on. And Lash is like, no, I don't want to say. Now is not the time. Like Trick goes to stop her and says, come on. There ain't nothing to be afraid about. But while he's saying this, he gets knocked down by Noam Dar. He gets taken out. Noam Dar lifts up the NXT Championship and then throws it back down. So it looks like we are getting Noam Dar versus Trick Williams for the NXT Championship. Later on in the night, we find out that Trick Williams was able to make it out of the arena on his own power, but he has gone to the hospital. Again, later on in the night, we get an interview with Noam Dar, who says, he doesn't care how Trick Williams feels. He's going to be taking that championship off him. Javon Edwards is his name, whatever his name is, I don't know. Isn't very happy with the way that Supernova Sessions went down. Noam Dar turns around and says, the way to stop your momentum, you've only just got here. The way to stop your momentum is by messing with us. And that sets up a match later on in the month. I believe it's next week. Noam Dar versus Javon Heights? Javon Edwards? I can't remember his name. He's the guy who faced Obafemi, I believe. Was it last week? Do you remember that? Do you remember that challenge where it was like, the first person to get in the ring gets to challenge me? I feel like that was the North American Championship, right? Not sure. Now that I've said it, I'm not 100% sure. But you get my point. You get my point, ladies and gentlemen. Like I say, interesting interesting night in NXT so far. I think we've got a really strong show on our hands, to be quite honest with you. Next, we do get Kalani Jordan versus Fallon Henley. This is a really strong match, guys, between two people who have quite a lot of chemistry, I've noticed. There's a point in this match where Fallon Henley accidentally rips off the turnbuckle. Well, I suppose accidentally rips off the turnbuckle. And commentary put it over like, it was accident, it was totally unintentional. And then a little bit later on in the match, it gets used. So Fallon Henley is stood in the corner. Kalani Jordan goes to do a running attack on her. She lifts her up and her head bounces off of the exposed turnbuckle. Fallon Henley comes off the ropes, hits a kick for the 1-2-3. But this was a really, really cool match. Probably the best match of the night, if I'm being quite honest with you. I actually really enjoyed it. I don't know why I enjoyed it so much. Like I say, it wasn't anything major or like special. Like, it wasn't for a title or anything, but I really enjoyed it. Next, guys, we go backstage where Dempsey accepts Tony D'Angelo's challenge for the Heritage Cup. It's going to be happening next week, and he says, but you can watch all the tapes that you want to. You are out of control in this situation because the no quarter catch clause are in effect, and you don't know who you're going to be facing next week. Will it be me? Will it be Miles Bourne? Or will it be Damon Kemp? You don't know. You're out of control, so let's see how you deal with that next week, and we'll see how that turns out later on in the night for him. We now go to the next match, where it is Duke Hudson versus Lexis King. Not really much to say about this match, guys, apart from the ending. So Lexis King looks like he's about to run away from the match, where he gets intimidated and pushed back into the ring by Ridge Holland. But Ridge Holland is so angry at Lexis King, he ends up accidentally costing Duke Hudson. He turns around straight into the coronation for the 1-2-3. Later on in the night, Ridge Holland apologizes to Chase U. It says, it was unintentional. He's very, very sorry. Unfortunately, Riley Osborne does not believe Ridge Holland and says, a leopard never changes his spots. Ridge Holland turns around and says, if I have to prove myself to you guys and earn your respect, and that's exactly what we will do. But Riley Osborne seems to be the only person who doesn't trust Ridge Holland in the in the Chase University, because the rest of them turn around and go, I kind of believed what he said, to be honest with you. So it looks like we're probably going to be getting Riley Osborne versus Ridge Holland in the next couple of weeks or so. We now go to the main event. We have got the Women's NXT Championship on the line. Roxanne Perez, the champion, versus Chelsea Green, the challenger. I found it weird that Chelsea Green was the face in this situation. I thought it was odd. It felt odd that the crowd were cheering for Chelsea Green, especially just because how she's portrayed on the main roster. Bit of a messy match, not going to lie. I enjoyed it. But this was a bit of a messy match between these two. There's a point in this match where Chelsea Green actually hits the Rough Rider onto Roxanne Perez for the 2 count. It's funny because, I'll say this again, she is the face in this situation because Roxanne Perez is the heel on NXT, but Vic Joseph is talking about how much of a pain in the arse she is on the main roster, how the 2 general managers feel about her, the fact that Nick Aldis, that Chelsea Green is now on SmackDown, so he doesn't know how he's going to be dealing with her on SmackDown. So it's kind of make your mind up, how are you going to be talking about Chelsea Green in this match? This match comes to an end where Roxanne Perez is able to hit Pop Rocks for the 1-2-3. Roxanne Perez retains her NXT Women's Championship. Staying strong, looking strong. I think this might be Chelsea Green's best match since she's come back to WWE, to be quite honest with you. Booker T was able to provide quite cool commentary, seeing as though he knows Roxanne Perez, obviously, from training her since she's been very young, and he also knows Chelsea Green from the Tough Enough days, so he knows both of these people quite well, so he's able to give quite a lot of insight into this match. But yeah, that was the main event, guys. Like I said, I thought it was Chelsea Green's best match since she's come back to WWE, and Roxanne Perez actually put on a solid match, and I can't sit here anymore and say that Roxanne Perez looks green in the ring. For me, she's looking a lot better lately. A heel character I'm still not completely on board with. I don't buy it, but in the ring I think she's improving. The Pop Rocks looked a bit clunky, but at the end of the day, sometimes shit happens. You know what I mean? You can't all of a sudden expect everything to be perfect. After this, guys, we go backstage to where the Tony D'Angelo family are beating down the No Quarter Catch crew. And Tony D'Angelo says to the camera, "Do you feel in charge now, Charlie? Do you feel in charge? Do you you're looking a bit exposed." The Tony D'Angelo family kidnap Miles Bourne and Damon Kemp and drive off with them in the boot of the car, leaving only Charlie Dempsey alone with the Heritage Cup. And he's looking around and he doesn't really know what to do. Obviously, the D'Angelo family one step ahead of Charlie Dempsey, taking away the catch quarter rules, whatever they're called, taking away that advantage, taking away the mind games away from Charlie Dempsey. Now he's all alone, and Tony D'Angelo knows exactly who he's facing for that Heritage Cup next week. So that's going to be very interesting, guys. Before we end this, I do want to give a shout out to Shawn Michaels, giving Kendrick Lamar and Drake a chance to air their beef out on live TV on NXT, opening the invitation to come to WWE. Mainly because, like, Kendrick Lamar mentioned sweet chin music in the Not Like Us song, I believe it was. I just thought that was quite funny. But what did you know? What did you think, guys? Let me know what you thought of NXT in the comments below. Like I said at the start of the video, guys, if you like this video, make sure you like and hit the subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, and hit the bell so you never miss a video from Outcasted OC. If you like the content, make sure you stay tuned for tomorrow because we're doing a Bad Batch recap on what we thought of the final season of the Bad Batch. Me, Ross, and some guests are going to be talking about what we thought of it. We're also going to be talking Tales of the Empire, because obviously we got that season come out on May the 4th, so that's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, if you like these reviews, make sure you check out Courtney's from yesterday, and stay tuned for Saturday morning because you're going to be getting a SmackDown review from G and Ross. Go follow us on all the social media platforms, guys, on Twitter/X, Instagram, and TikTok at Outcasted OC. But for now, I hope you have an absolutely amazing Wednesday. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.